further away from the mountain. He said, Lord, touch the mountain, because you'll die. There's not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mountain. This is a scary scene. God's getting them ready for his presence. And all the people of God have the same fear of God today. To come into his house, into his presence, and realize you come to the presence of God. You don't be so cavalier about it. So blasé. You leave your cell phone in your car. You leave your personal business outside. To realize I'm going to the presence of a killer. He doesn't listen to me. Somebody's so mighty, he's so great, and so majestic, they can strike me dead right now. I'm going to take any chances. I'll leave everything outside, not pertaining to him, outside. I wish people of God had that fear today. This is the same God they're dealing with, by the way. And Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. They were in the wilderness with a wardrobe, mind you. They were travelers. So the best they could do is come to God's presence with plain clothes. I mean, what God's required of us has been no different than God's required from the very beginning. He asked for your best to come to his house. I mean, there's a time when God said, how are you going to come is fine. He told us that. We went through those days, come as you are. But he did that as an exception, to get you there. Because you didn't know him. But once you're to speak and come to know who he was and come to appreciate him, God expects your dress to elevate according to your knowledge. He still expects us to wear ties to church. He didn't change that. We changed it. And if it was okay with God, he's going to go along with it. But he didn't change that in one bit. He asked for your very best to come to his house. Your best suit, your best shirt, your best tie, your best pair of pants, your best, whatever you got, make it your best. In this case, they had nothing else. He said, worship. You guys get this message yet? Yes. He's been preaching to you for years and years and years. And we've been a rebellious house to that way. Look at somebody else and decide that they have changed, so it's okay for me. And we've been measuring ourselves among ourselves and comparing ourselves with ourselves and never forgetting rather what God said and trying to come up to what his standard was. Just can't do it. It's a pattern. It's an indicator of where you're going to be at the end. Came to pass on the third day in the morning. This is the message. I have to go through this stuff here to get to the next verse in chapter 18 of Deuteronomy. Came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings. What's missing? No rain. Just in a thunderstorm, this is something different. Thunders and lightning, and a thick black cloud. I'm saying black here because that's what it was, that's not another passage. A thick black cloud descending like a fog upon the mountain. Picture of fog coming down, but it's not a fog, it's a cloud, and it's pitch black. Fog is not black. Fog is of a grayish color, or white color. And the voice, the word he uses, the voice of the trumpet. What did John say in Revelation? I heard behind me as the word, the voice of a trumpet. The voice of the trumpet, not a trumpet, the trumpet, exceeding loud. So that all the people that was in the camp trembled. What did God do? He gave them a healthy, visual, audible respect for his presence. And the whole congregation, over 1 million strong, were standing there like this. And he ain't even spoken yet. He's just getting introduction. Who introduces a God? The high priest Aaron couldn't do it. Out of his league. They get a great speaker. You get a great person to introduce a great speaker. Moses couldn't do it. He wasn't great enough. So what does God do? He calls his creation to introduce him. A thunder. Thunder can be deafening. You hear a crack of thunder and it gets your attention. And you stop. You want to know what caught on fire. Or lightning can be blinding. You have to understand, this wasn't a lightning where you got flash of lightning. It was continual lightning. It never broke. It's just a constant, like a flash bulb that continued to flash. Then this trumpet starts blowing, exceeding loud. Now, loud is loud. But when you get something exceeding loud, it means it goes off the decibel chart and your ears are throbbing from it. And left them trembling. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God. And Mount Sinai was all together on the smoke. This person kind of cracks me up. Whole thing smoking. Because the Lord descended upon it in fire. God gives whole year of messages about referencing him. He said, because the Lord thy God is a consuming fire. We forgot that too, by the way. He's not all that. He came down. Understand, there's a picture now. The mountain's covered by this black smoke. There's thunder, lightning taking place. This trumpet is sounding out of the darkness. And now God comes down and he's on fire. Not on fire, he is fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. Earthquake. A localized earthquake that kept on shaking. It didn't joke, or a 22nd California quake. This mountain shook the entire time. Now imagine yourself standing before this. And you ain't seen God yet. You ain't heard his voice yet. This is the introduction. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder and louder until you couldn't hear somebody talking to you next to you, which was God's point. God said, I'm about to speak, everybody shut up. There's no room or no need for anybody to say a word to their neighbor while I'm talking. We forgot that too. We still have little sidebars and little side conversations, side comments where God is saying something, and it's okay. Because we haven't seen this side of God yet. But you're going to. And those little miscues have been adding up. And you establish yourself a track record with God that God's going to require of you pretty soon. When the voice of the trumpet sounded long, a trumpet is the loudest instrument in existence. I was in a band in high school. And the director had always looked at the trumpet section all the time. And that's my one memory of being in the band, was the director always looked at the trumpet. And quieting them down a little bit. It's a naturally loud, that's why God chose this instrument. That's why he invented the trumpet. Because of its volume capacity. Except a human being blowing a trumpet, here's someone like Dizzy Gillespie with the frog jaws. He's going to blow us all. This trumpet here, whoever blew this trumpet, never took a breath. Just one long, continuous blast. Again, go in the human realm. You blow a long note, or sing and hold a long note. The longer you hold it, the intensity tends to stop. You have to break holding the note because you can't keep the same intensity, right or not?
Right.
The volume would diminish. Whoever blew this trumpet, it went continuously, and rather than diminish, it kept escalating. Who's this? They can blow like that. Well, God could. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, upon the top of the mountain. The Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the Lord said to Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through to the Lord to gaze. What went y'all for to see? He don't want gazers in this assembly. Okay, he's not putting the visual show for him. This is a hearing exercise. They heard the thunder. They heard the trumpet. And many of them perish. God's saying those who go to church to see are going to perish. That's going to be their end. Hearers are going to live. Seers are going to die. And let the priests also come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said to the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. And the Lord said to him, away, get thee down. And thou shalt come up, you and Aaron with thee, but let not the priest and the people break through the come to the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. That's when God gave what's called the Ten Commandments. Go back to Deuteronomy again. Kind of a long message, but it's exciting. Stay with it. Verse 15, the Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me, and to him ye shall hearken, according to all the thy desires of the Lord thy God in Horeb. Horeb is the mountain range where Sinai is located. In the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God. Now again, I preach this. Those know the story. The people eventually, the chief of the 12 tribes had a meeting with Moses. And they begged Moses, don't let God talk to us anymore. Why? Neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. Two things you requested. Let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God. Neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. Said it to you before. This fire comes down from heaven. When God comes down, he comes down the fire and he descends into the cloud. The cloud was so thick that it hit the fire. And we can't visualize that. You can visualize a darkness so thick it could be felt, that you should visualize a cloud so thick of darkness that when God comes down on fire, the cloud hides the fire. Why do I know God is in there? Because every time God said, thou shalt not kill, fire came out through the smoke at them. That gets your attention.
Yes.
And the fire comes right out to your face, and you back up. You back up some more, and the fire God says, thou shalt not steal, and each word comes out, fire comes out, and you're back and forth and forth. Forget about the boundary, wasn't needed. Because the time he got finished speaking, they were so far away, and they called a meeting and said, look, Moses, don't let God talk to us anymore, because this fire is going to kill us, it's going to burn us up. That's why God said in Hebrews, for the Lord thy God is a consuming fire. His word will bring you closer to him or burn you up. It's designed to do one or the other. Okay? So I had to preach all that to get to one verse. According to all the desires from the Lord thy God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire any more than thine eyes. Understand, I'm going to get to the end of this before you lose track of the details and not understand where I'm going. Jesus is saying, or just saying God's word, that prophet is greater than the one who spoke from Sinai. So let's let that settle into your brain. He said the prophet we're going to raise up is more intense and greater and more powerful than the one who spoke to you from the mountain. Okay, so take Jesus' words like, it's just Jesus. He said, I'm more serious than the one who spoke to you from Mount Sinai. Right? And the Lord said unto me, again, I said, the book of Deuteronomy is a review by Moses of what took place when he was with him for 40 years. And the Lord said to me, they have well spoken. That was they had spoken. What did God say? They made a good choice by asking them to talk to me anymore. And so therefore, I'm going to let you talk to them until I raise up a prophet who's going to talk to him, the last prophet, the last speaker. So, since they made a good choice, I'll raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like it to me. And I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak them, all that I shall command him. So he said, now who's speaking here? God the Father. Okay? He said, I'm going to put words in his mouth, in Jesus' mouth. He's going to speak all that I command him. Did that happen? Yep. Let's see. Turn to John. I'm out of clock there. I'm over time, I know. I'm aware. Can't do an offering now, it's so important. John chapter 7. I love the gift card, Jamie. I trust you. Verse 16. Let's back up. Now about the midst of the feast, verse 14. About the midst of the feast, Jesus went up to the temple and taught. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned? Letters here, you might refer to them as a DD, PhD, and so on and so forth. How's this man letters in the other rabbinical schools, the great schools here? Jesus answered him and said, here's how. My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself. That's incredible. Right? How many times over the years have I said that there are those who are wondering if this is Steve or God? I said, you should have been gone a long time ago. He said, Jesus, you should know the doctrine. And know what I'm speaking of myself or speaking of God. It's like that question he asked him at the end of his, near the end of his life. He said that the baptism of John, was it from heaven or men? He asked that to the priests and the scribes, and the religious leaders. They got together. It's not we're saying of heaven, that John preached the message from heaven. He's going to ask us, why do we believe it? And get baptized. So if we say of men, the people are going to stone us, because all these people who are below us intellectually, religiously, all these people know that John was a prophet sent from God. So they told Jesus, we can't tell you. Remember the whole thing started, and they came in the next day and said, where did you get